Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin with a question that might cut straight into your soul. Have you ever felt like life is pushing you so hard that you're right on the edge of giving up? That moment when your chest feels heavy, your mind screams enough, and you start believing the lie that maybe, just maybe, you're not meant for greatness. I want you to hold on to that feeling for a moment, because that is the exact point. Yes, the exact moment when you're closer to your breakthrough than you could ever imagine. Now listen carefully, because what I'm about to share with you isn't theory. It's not some cliche line you've heard on Instagram. This is real, it's raw. And if you open your heart right now, it may just shift the trajectory of your entire life. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, I met a young man. We'll call him John. He was a fighter, not in the ring, but in life. John worked 2 jobs, studied late into the night, and still found time to take care of his mother, who was battling illness. He was strong, determined, but life didn't seem to reward him. Every door he knocked on stayed shut. Every dream he chased seemed to crumble in his hands. One night, John called me. His voice cracked. He said, "David, I don't think I can do this anymore, and I've given everything I've got, and nothing's working. Maybe I'm just not cut out for success." And I told him something that I now want to tell you. John, the darkest nights come right before the sunrise. The hardest battles come right before the victory, and the deepest pain comes right before the breakthrough. You see, pressure has a purpose. Think about it. A diamond doesn't form without pressure. A butterfly doesn't emerge without struggle. And you, yes, you, will not discover your strength without being tested to your limits. But here's the problem. Most people quit at 99%. They walk away right before the finish line. They give up when they're just one push away from a completely different life. And maybe that's you right now. Maybe you're sitting there thinking about quitting your job search, quitting your business, quitting your dream, quitting on yourself. But let me tell you something with absolute conviction. You are closer than you think. I remember my own breaking point. There was a time in my life when I felt completely invisible. I worked so hard, but no one noticed. I spoke, but no one listened. I dreamed, but the world seemed to mock me for it. And in those moments, I thought, what's the point? But looking back now, I realized that was the very season when I was being shaped, molded, and prepared for the breakthrough that was coming. Because here's the truth. Life will test you the hardest when you're closest to leveling up. Now, let me drop the first core principle of this entire message. Principle number 1, resistance means progress. If you're facing opposition, if everything feels heavier, if the climb is getting steeper, it's not because you're failing, it's because you're moving forward. Think of it like going to the gym. The heavier the weight, the stronger you become, the greater the resistance, the more powerful you grow. And in life, those struggles, those rejections, those sleepless nights, they're building your strength for the breakthrough that's already on its way, but only if you don't quit. Let's pause here and reflect. What if Thomas Edison had quit after 999 failed attempts at inventing the light bulb? What if J.K. Rowling had stopped writing after her 12th publisher rejected her manuscript? What if Steve Jobs had never returned after being fired from his own company? The world would have been robbed of light, of magic, of innovation. And let me be blunt with you. If you quit right now, the world will be robbed of your gift. Yes, you. You have something inside you that no one else does. A talent, a vision, a spark. And the world is waiting for you to bring it out. So don't walk away at the 99-yard line. Don't let the hardest moment fool you into thinking it's the end. Because it's not the end. It's the threshold. Pause. Take a deep breath. Because this is where it gets real. Every single one of you listening to me right now is standing at a crossroad. On one side is comfort, giving up, staying safe, walking away. On the other side is pain, pushing harder, enduring longer, believing stronger. but only one road leads to transformation. Only one road leads to your breakthrough. Let me end this first section with a vision I want to implant deep into your heart. Imagine you're climbing a mountain. The air gets thinner, your legs shake, your chest burns, you're tempted to stop, to turn back. But just behind the next ridge, just a few more steps, is the summit, the view that will take your breath away, the victory you've been waiting for. But here's the kicker. Most people turn back right before the top. Don't let that be your story, because the truth is simple, powerful, undeniable. It always gets hardest right before the breakthrough. And if you can just hold on a little longer, push a little harder, believe a little stronger, you will see it. Your sunrise, your victory, your breakthrough. Let's get brutally honest for a second. Everyone loves the idea of a breakthrough. Everyone wants the victory, the applause, the lifestyle, the freedom. But let's be clear, breakthrough has a price, and that price is sacrifice. That price is patience. Now, I know those aren't the sexy words you wanted to hear. You wanted me to say, believe and it'll happen, or just manifest it and it'll appear. But no, that's fantasy. The reality is this: if you want your breakthrough, you have to pay for it with sweat, with time, with discipline, with sacrifice. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine two people standing at the start of their journey. Both of them say, I want success. One is willing to stay up an extra hour to learn. The other wants to watch Netflix. One says no to another night out drinking, choosing instead to save money or invest. The other laughs, spends it all, and calls it living. Fast forward 5 years. One of them is building a business, debt-free, finally tasting freedom. The other, still broke, still stuck, still complaining. Same start, same opportunities, different choices. Breakthrough doesn't happen by chance. It happens by choice. Let me share a story from my own life. There was a time I wanted everything now. I wanted the success, the recognition, the lifestyle, but every time things got tough, I'd look for shortcuts. Guess what? I kept falling flat on my face. It wasn't until I understood this principle that patience is not passive, patience is power, that things changed. Patience isn't sitting back, waiting for life to hand you something, number. Patience is grinding in silence, building when no one notices, pushing when no one claps, and believing even when the results are invisible. That's the price of a breakthrough. Think about it. A seed doesn't turn into a tree overnight. It spends months hidden in the dirt, in the dark, unseen. And during that time, people might laugh. They might say, nothing's happening. But underground, roots are growing strong. Foundation is being built. And one day when the time is right, that seed breaks through the soil and nobody can stop it. That's your life. Right now, maybe you're in the dirt. Maybe nothing seems to be moving. Maybe you feel buried. But hear me on this. You are not buried. You are planted. And if you stay patient, if you keep pushing, your breakthrough will come. Here's the second principle I want you to tattoo on your mind. Principle number 2. Breakthrough demands sacrifice and it rewards patience. You can't keep everything and expect to level up. You can't keep your bad habits, your distractions, your laziness, your excuses, and still demand success. Number, something has to die so something greater can be born. You want more time? Sacrifice your endless scrolling. You want more money? Sacrifice your instant pleasures. You want a stronger body? Sacrifice comfort, show up in the gym. You want freedom? Sacrifice the short term for the long term. I'll give you an example that shook me to my core. A young woman once wrote to me. She was working as a waitress, barely making ends meet, but she had a dream to open her own bakery. Every night after her shift, while her coworkers went drinking or partying, she stayed up testing recipes in her tiny kitchen. For 2 years, nobody cared. For 2 years, she was broke, tired, ignored. And then one day, someone tried her cakes, loved them, and posted about it online. Within weeks, She had more orders than she could handle. Within months, she opened her first shop. Today, she owns multiple bakeries. People call her lucky. Number, that wasn't luck. That was sacrifice plus patience plus persistence. But here's the problem. We live in a world addicted to instant gratification. Everyone wants now fast food, fast money, fast fame. And when they don't get results immediately, they quit. Let me tell you something you may not like. Your breakthrough is not on Amazon Prime. You can't order it with 2-day shipping. You've got to earn it. And that means waiting. That means grinding. That means being the last one awake and the first one to rise. That means doing the boring work consistently until it compounds into extraordinary results. Let me drive this home with a metaphor. Life is like boiling water. At 99 degrees, nothing happens, but at 100 degrees, water boils. That one extra degree changes everything. Most people quit at 99. They say it's not working. They throw it away. They walk away right before the boil. But if you can hold on, if you can keep the fire burning, if you can stay patient for just one more degree, your life transforms. Now let's get personal. What are you willing to sacrifice? What excuses are you still protecting? What comfort zones are you refusing to leave? Because your future is waiting on the other side of that decision. And here's the kicker. The pain of discipline is always lighter than the pain of regret. One day, you're going to look back at this season of your life, and you'll either say, "Thank God I didn't quit. I'm free now." Or you'll whisper, "What if? What if I held on a little longer?" And that question, what if, will haunt you more than any failure ever could. So let me end this section with fire in my voice. If you want your breakthrough, stop chasing shortcuts. Stop quitting halfway. Stop demanding overnight results. Instead, sacrifice, be patient, build, grind, believe. And when the world thinks you're buried, know this, you're planted and your breakthrough is coming, because the truth is timeless. It gets hardest right before the breakthrough. And those who sacrifice, those who wait, those who persist, they're the ones who taste it. Let me tell you the truth nobody wants to admit. Right before the breakthrough, life feels impossible, not just hard. Impossible. It's that moment when the weight on your shoulders feels unbearable, when every door slams shut, when every voice tells you, quit, it's not worth it. It's when your body is exhausted, your mind is screaming, your heart is breaking, and yet something inside whispers, don't stop. And that whisper is your breakthrough calling your name. Think about the stories that inspire us most. The athlete who was told they'd never walk again, yet fought their way back and stood on the podium. The single mother working 3 jobs, barely able to feed her kids, who pushed through and built a business that changed her family's future. The student who failed class after class, laughed at, doubted, ridiculed, yet kept studying until they became the first in their family to graduate. Every single one of them had a moment, a breaking point, where it felt like life had crushed them. But that was the moment right before everything shifted. Here's the principle you need to etch into your soul. Principle number 3, your deepest pain is often the birthplace of your greatest power. Life doesn't test you to destroy you. Life tests you to discover you. When you hit rock bottom, you learn to build a foundation no earthquake can shake. When you lose everything, you realize what truly matters. When you face rejection, failure, betrayal, you learn resilience, strength, and unshakable focus. Your pain is not punishment. Your pain is preparation. I remember a time in my life where I thought it was over. I had lost everything: money, relationships, confidence. I felt worthless. Nights lying awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if tomorrow was even worth facing. But I didn't realize something. I wasn't breaking down. I was breaking through. Those nights forced me to dig deeper than I ever had before. Those tears watered the seed of a future I couldn't see, and those struggles built muscles I didn't know I needed. Looking back now, I see it clearly. My pain was the very tool life used to shape me into the man standing before you today. And if it happened for me, it can happen for you. But let's talk about you for a moment. Right now, you might feel stuck. Maybe you're tired of fighting battles nobody sees. Maybe you're carrying a weight that no one claps for. Maybe you're giving your all and it feels like life keeps slapping you back down. And maybe, just maybe, you're thinking of giving up. Don't. Because listen to me carefully, the breakthrough always comes after the hardest push. It's like childbirth, the moment of greatest pain, the moment where the mother feels she can't push anymore. That's the exact moment when life enters the world. The scream, the agony, the tears, all of it is the signal that something new is being born, and your life works the same way. Now, here's where it gets real. You cannot afford to quit on yourself. You cannot afford to waste another year saying next time, next month, next year. Your time is now. Why? Because the clock is ticking. Every day you wait is a day you don't get back. Every excuse you protect is a future you destroy. Every moment you hesitate is a door you allow to close. And I promise you, regret is heavier than any failure you'll ever face. Let me show you something powerful. Imagine yourself 10 years from now. Picture the older version of you sitting alone. They look at you with tears in their eyes and whisper, "Why did you give up?" We were so close. We were right there. Now imagine another version of you, the one who refused to quit, the one who pushed through the nights of pain, the days of doubt, the years of struggle. That version is smiling, free, fulfilled, powerful. The question is, which version will you meet? Principle number 4, the breakthrough is reserved for those who refuse to quit. Not the smartest, not the strongest, not the luckiest, just the most relentless. Winners don't quit when it's hard. Winners don't quit when they're tired. Winners don't quit when everyone doubts them. Winners keep showing up. They keep pushing. They keep grinding. And eventually the world breaks, the wall cracks, the door opens because persistence beats resistance every single time. Let me give you one final image. Have you ever seen how miners search for gold? They dig for days, sometimes months, with nothing to show for it. Most people quit when they're just 3 feet away, but the ones who keep digging, they strike gold. And when they do, it doesn't just change their life, it changes generations. So let me ask you, are you 3 feet away from gold right now? Are you about to quit, not knowing that your breakthrough is waiting just beyond this season of pain? Don't stop digging. Don't stop pushing. Don't stop believing. Here's how we close this chapter. Life is going to hit you hard. It's going to test your patience, your faith, your courage. But remember this, it always gets hardest right before the breakthrough. And if you hold the line, if you fight one more round, if you push through one more night, you'll taste a freedom most people only dream of. So this is your moment. Stand tall, dry your tears, wipe off the dust, and declare with every ounce of your being, I refuse to quit. I refuse to settle. I will break through because your story isn't over, your pain isn't wasted, and your breakthrough, it's closer than you think. This is your wake-up call. Don't just listen, act. Don't just dream, build. Don't just survive, live. And if this message lit a fire inside you, hit subscribe, join this movement, and together, let's break through